How do you feel when you see different presidents and their families? Like the Kennedy kids sitting under the Resolute desk, or the Reagans building a snowman on the White House lawn, or the Obama family posed with their 2 dogs. Do these people look like you? Could you see yourself there? Would you trust them to act in your best interest? In 2019, Gallup did this fascinating survey that forced Americans to reveal their isms. They asked, if your party nominated a generally well-qualified person for president who just happened to be blank, would you vote for that person? So this is a good candidate. The only thing is that they might be a member of a group that's different from yours. If that blank was black, 96% of respondents said they would vote for a well-qualified black candidate. 94% said they would vote for a woman. 4 and 6% seem to be relatively low numbers given the country's history, but the numbers start dropping from there. Just 80% would vote for a well-qualified evangelical Christian, 76% for a gay or lesbian candidate, and just 60% for an atheist. In the question, Gallup tries to imply that a person from any of these groups could adequately do the job of the presidency. But the responses reveal that Americans don't just care about whether or not someone can do the job. They care about who they are and who they're doing the job for. Fundamental to these answers is this question. If someone is different from me, will they do what's in my best interest? Will an atheist fight for religious freedom? Will a man fight for women's reproductive rights? Will a person with no children fight for education? Today I want to talk about just one of those groups, the traditional American family. They filled the White House for centuries, but with some of the candidates we have today, that reign of tradition might end. So are you okay with that?
Keep our families in mind.
When we have our children, you have just a different perspective.
Hello, South Carolina.
We're all families. But all of you know what they mean by family.
To figure out what's happening to American families, I talked to an expert who's been studying family patterns for decades.
In 1980, if you looked at 40-year-olds, about 6% had never tried marriage.
Let's hold there for a second. 1980. The 80s are the Reagan years, a time where the American family came into the forefront of society.
The family car. They didn't forget the family.
Marriage rates were at an all-time high, and the president reflected that. Ronald Reagan had 5 children and frequently spoke about his focus on family.
I wanted to have my family while I was still young.
He was interrupted with applause for mentioning
As homework. As a nation,
in the State of the Union, and talked about how in recent decades,
the American family has come under virtual attack. It has lost authority to government rule writers. It has seen its central role in the education of young people narrowed and distorted. And it's been forced to turn over to big government far too many of its own resources in the form of taxation.
Ronald Reagan played the quintessential American family man.
I think somebody wants more.
It's a role that presidents and politicians have been playing for a long time. Just check their Twitter bios. I've never seen a normal human put their family role in their bio, but it seems like every politician lets it slip in. Barack Obama, dad, husband, president, citizen. Joe Biden, husband to FLOTUS. Always an outlier, Donald Trump, 45th president of the US. But then Nancy Pelosi, wife, mother, grandmother. And it becomes especially notable when that family role isn't like most others. Like for Pete Buttigieg, who is gay, husband, father. Or Tim Scott, without a spouse at all, is just a South Carolinian living his mama's American dream.
As of today, 2021, 25% of the nation's 40-year-olds have never tried marriage. And so what we have is a growing share of adults who are, call it single. Today's 20-somethings, yeah, they're very focused on the world of work and getting themselves oriented to succeed in their careers and in the labor market, but that has come at the expense of they're much less pursuing sort of family roles, either marriage or, having children, parenthood.
So politicians are representatives of what America is like. And just like America, politicians are beginning to break the mold of what makes a family. And they're trying to convince us that it doesn't matter. So, are we convinced?
I was a bit surprised by this, but 69% of U.S. adults in 2019 said yes, it's acceptable for them to live together, even if they don't plan to marry. 53% of adults said yes, it is better for society if couples long-term actually do get married. So it's widely accepted, but there is a sense, not a strong sense, but there is a sense that marriage benefits society.
So I don't really have anything to say other than, what do you think? In 2020, we had an openly gay presidential candidate, and a lot of people think America just wasn't ready to see two men kissing in the White House. And in 2024, we have a candidate who is supposed to represent the parents and spouses of America, but has never been one. Young people constantly complain about old politicians not understanding their young lives. So who can represent you? Would you trust someone else to fight like you would?